I will admit. So I'm going to start recording. I'm going to record the lesson. I'll post it to Teams next to the assignment so you can see which video or which assignment the video is tied to. And I'll also put it on Dojo like I have been. So happy September 2nd. It is my sister's birthday. So I'm going to go over to my parents tonight and eat a bunch of pizza and eat some cake and celebrate. So I'm pretty excited about that. The daily agenda. It's the middle of the week, I think. Yep, Wednesday. So we're halfway through. So far this week, we've talked about area of rectangles. All right, we learned about columns and rows and how we can multiply those two together to get the area inside. Well, the target for today is to determine the area of a rectangle without a grid. Okay. In the past couple of days, we've been using an array of dots. We've been using squares that total a rectangle. Today, we're going to look at some that aren't fully complete, but we have side lengths, and we're going to see how we can use the side lengths to figure out the entire area. Let's quickly go over homework real fast. These first two bullets are old assignments. Okay, the first bullet's from Monday. Second bullet is from yesterday, so Tuesday. And then we'll get to the bottom bullet today. But what I want to say is, let me pull up the team's assignment. Okay, I just submitted the assignment for you guys for today. It was spinning, telling me it was waiting for me to do something. I just submitted it, so you should be able to see it now. But let me pull up assignments. You guys have done actually really well. I see 6 people have turned in this first assignment, which is awesome. So Malia, Eileen, Katie, Camila, Tania, Adelina. So Elizabeth, I think, is the only one who hasn't yet. And then the second assignment, I see 4 people, excuse me. Camila, Eileen, Tania, and Adelina have turned it in. So if I said your name, you do not need to worry about either one of those assignments, whichever one you've already done. However, if you didn't hear your name for one of those assignments, those are due tonight at midnight. Okay, they shouldn't take super long, probably about 10 minutes or so tops. If you're having issues, please reach out and I'll help. But the important thing is we need to get into a routine of turning things in. I see a lot of time that people are actually viewing it, which is awesome, but we need to be turning our work in, because when things start counting for grades, I want you to already be in that habit of turning in those homework assignments. I am going to be posting to OneNote pretty much every single day for assignments, but I realize that some are having issues with that. So I will always post a PDF of the assignment as well. So if you have a device that isn't compatible with Teams or OneNote, then you can pull up the PDF of it and still view it and write it on a piece of paper. That's totally fine. But I still want to see your work. I want you to turn in your work because that's how we're going to do grading from here on out, or in the near future. Malia, do you have a question?
I was wondering, the assignment you gave us yesterday, if I could do it on the paper and if it could be like this.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Anytime I assign something, the option of doing it on a piece of paper is always there. Okay. For whatever reason, things are kind of glitchy. They don't always work. It may work for Malia, and then Eileen tries it and it doesn't work for her. We're working through all of that. So if that is the case, you can't view it, you can't edit it, you can't draw, whatever it may be, I'm going to include that PDF of the assignment. So at the bare minimum, you can at least do it on a piece of paper. Okay, and we'll just bring that to my attention, say, hey, I did it on a piece of paper, but it didn't work for me. And this is what happened. So we can change things for the future, make it hopefully better and better every single day. All right. So let's get into what we're going to do today. I'm going to stop sharing that screen. You should see me right now. Let's see. I need to share my first screen. Put that up there. Let's get you guys up over here. All right, Malia, do you see a blank, basically a blank screen? All white? All right, perfect. So what we're going to do as a warm-up is very similar to, I think, what we did yesterday or the day before, but it's the how many do you see and how do you see it? All right, so it's just the exact same thing as yesterday where I showed those dots really quickly, only like 3 or 4 seconds, and I want you to quickly count them. Oops. Quickly count them, put it on a piece of paper, and then I'll show you again real fast, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So I'll give you about 10 seconds to grab a piece of paper and a pencil if you don't have it. But again, you should get into the habit of bringing it to every single class. So I see Eileen getting up. Looks like the rest of you who are showing video have things in front of them. So Elizabeth and Jocelyn, make sure that you have something in front of you. I can't see your video. But here we go. I'll show it for 4 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, write down how many you think there are. Eileen, I'm going to show it again, so you can see it too. Okay, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Someone raise their hand and share how many there are and how they see it. Wow, Katie is excited. I love it. Take it away, Katie.
Yes. Okay. I think that there's
Bless you.
I think there's 20
Okay, how did you get 20?
because I counted by fives until I got to 4 fives. So I counted 5, 10, 15, 20.
Okay, so did you said you grouped them in fives then?
Yes.
So like there's a 5. It almost looks like a dice or a die, especially on the bottom right when I drew it more like a square. So you took those groups of 5s then, Katie, and you said you just added them together?
Yes.
Okay, so saw that there's 5 there, 5, 5, 5. And so Katie just went 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals, I'm running out of room over here,
20.
20. Nice job, Katie. Who saw it differently? Elizabeth, did you see it differently or did you see it like this?
Try it differently.
Okay, do you want to explain how you saw it?
So I added both of the 4 5s. I put them into 2 groups,
Okay.
2 and 2, and I said 2. Wait.
So did you group them like the left side together, the right side together, or the top together and the bottom together, or
The side.
the sides?
And I did times.
Okay, so she saw it like this. And you said you did times, so you multiplied?
Yeah, I said 5.
Oh, Elizabeth, I think I'm hearing your background noise from your sister's class. Can you explain a little bit more, Elizabeth, about how you multiplied? She might be heading to a different place. That's okay. We'll move on. Eileen, do you want to explain your reasoning, and then we'll get to the next one?
I looked and I just looked and then I counted how much there were and there were 5, and I just went 5 plus 5 is 10, and 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 and 10 is 20.
Okay, so probably something similar to what Elizabeth was starting to explain. Sounds like you group together, like in the green that I circled there, you have one side and added those sides together. So it looks like you may have taken this 5 up here, this 5 down there, and gotten 10 when you add it together. That 5, that's the second 10. And you add 10 and 10 together, and you get 20. Is that a fair assessment?
Mhm.
Very cool. One other way that we could do it, how can we use multiplication for this? Camila?
You could do 5 times 5.
5 times 5?
Yeah.
What would that get us?
20.
What's 5? Close.
I mean 5
20.
times 4.
5 times 4. There we go. Exactly right. We can go 5 times 4. Look at this right here. Was that who explained first? Was that Katie? Yeah. Katie's addition problem right there that I just underlined in green right there. That's the exact same thing as what Camila described up top. This 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is adding 5 4 separate times. When you're adding the same thing over and over, we can say multiplication, right? You're adding groups of 5. So I might even rewrite this as 4 times 5. Oops, that's an ugly 4. Sorry. That one wasn't much better. We can say 4 groups of, remember multiplication, we could say groups of 5. There are 4 groups of 5. That equals 20 in total. All right. Great job, Camila, Elizabeth, Katie, Eileen, and the rest of you for paying attention as well. We're going to skip the next couple. We'll be doing these frequently, so don't be too disappointed that we're skipping those couple. What we're going to do now is a notice and wonder. Have you guys ever done a notice and wonder before? Yeah.
In 3rd grade.
Malia says yes. Malia, do you want to maybe explain what a notice and wonder is, or what you think notice means and wonder means?
Notice is you pull up a math equation or something, and you have to tell the teacher what you notice about it and what you wonder about it. An area.
Yeah, exactly right. You're going to look at, in this case, we're going to look at 2 images, and I want you to tell me one thing that you notice. So that's one thing that stands out. And then one thing that you wonder. So that's one thing that you're like, I want to know more about this. So again, one thing that stands out, one question or thing that makes you go, I wonder what's going on there, or I wonder what that means. All right, I'm going to show the image for maybe 30 seconds or so, 45 seconds. You don't have to write something down for this. Just think through, and then I'll call on you guys. All right, here we go. I'll zoom in a little bit. So what do you notice about these images? What do you wonder about these images? So I'll give you about 30 seconds, maybe a minute. You don't need to write it down. You can if you want to. But what do you notice? What do you wonder? All right, Tania, let's start off with you. What's one thing you notice or wonder?
I have a notice and a wonder.
Go for it. Share them both.
So I noticed that the designs are the same color.
Okay.
And
So same color.
Actually, I don't have a wonder.
You don't have a wonder? Okay, that's fine. So that's actually going to come and play into what these are called, I believe. I'm kind of making an assumption here. Using the limited Spanish that I know, I'm trying to translate a little bit. But very good notice, Tania. Awesome job. Camila.
I have a notice and a wonder.
All right, give them both.
I noticed that they might be paintings, and I
Okay.
wonder the one with like the flowers. I'm wondering what it involves with math.
Ooh, I like the thinking. Can you make any guesses on some of the math that might be involved in this?
Well, I think they use grid paper for the one with the blue that has like the flower, and there's grid paper, so I think it involves with area.
Ooh, I love your thinking there. Oops, area. So grid paper might mean an easier way for us to find the area. How could you, quick question before we go to the activity that's part of this. How could you find the area of this left picture? Malia?
The windows?
Okay, the windows, possibly. Any other ideas? I see a few hands up. Eileen, your hand's up. Do you want to maybe take a guess on how we can find the area?
Find the area?
Yeah, looking at this left picture here.
Oh.
How can we find the area of that tile sequence?
Oh.
Do you have any ideas? What shape is that picture on the left?
On the left, it is a rectangle.
It is a rectangle. How do we find the area of a rectangle?
By counting.
Okay, you could count every single square in there if you wanted to. But what's a quick way that we've learned to find the area of a rectangle? Jocelyn, do you have your hand up? Do you maybe want to help Eileen? How can we find the area of a rectangle?
Both of them have flowers.
What's that?
Both of them have flowers.
Okay, yeah, for notice and wonder, yeah. Both of them have flowers, kind of similar designs, same color. We'll get into the area of a rectangle next, okay? Let's move on to this next activity. So these pictures here are actually, looking at my notes, it says that they are, I'll scroll back up. They are examples of painted tile work called azulejos from Portugal. So in Portugal, they have been used for a very long time, both to decorate walls, floors, and even ceilings. And many also show events in Portuguese history. So these are awesome designs. I think the azul, it's blue, right, in Spanish? So azulejos, it might have something to do with the blue coloring. I may be totally wrong on that, but they're very important to the history of Portugal. So in this next activity, there's a girl named Elena. After learning about azulejos, Elena is making her own tile artwork. This rectangle shows the project Elena is tiling. Each tile has a side length of 1 inch. How many tiles will it take to tile the whole rectangle? Explain or show your reasoning. Okay, so it looks like we have a start to a rectangle that Elena is tiling. And we want to know how many tiles will it take to fill this entire rectangle? Does anyone have any ideas on how we might be able to do that. Figure out how many tiles fill the whole rectangle. Adelina?
We could use the rows and columns to figure out how much tile she's gonna need and how much it's gonna take to fill it up.
Okay, I love how you use rows and columns. Can you explain a little bit more about how we can use those to help us? Like how many rows are there? How many columns? What do we do with that?
Yes. So there is 9 rows. There's
Okay,
9
is that top or bottom? Or sorry, is that top or the side?
this side. Just go
The
into
side.
Yes.
All right, so there are 9 there.
The top there's 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. And then there's 10 columns going down.
All right, so there are 10 on the top, 9 on the side. And if we're trying to figure out how many tiles it will take to tile the whole rectangle, what are we solving for? Is that perimeter? Is that area? Is that side length? What is it?
Pretty sure it's the area. We're solving for the area.
I would agree. So tile the whole rectangle. I'm going to put a little equal sign, area. All right, that's what we're solving for. Trying to figure out the area of this rectangle. Now, do we need to know all the tiles in here in order to find the area, or can we use these columns and rows to find the area without needing to see all the inside?
I think we could use the rows and columns to find out the area of the rectangle.
Awesome. I would agree. Awesome. How would we do that? You're so close. What's the answer to this area problem?
The answer. So, yeah, the times equation would be 9 times 10 or 10 times 9.
Okay.
And if you add 9 to 10 or 10 to 9, it would equal 90. Either way.
Okay, not add them together, but multiply them together, right?
Multiply them, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we have 90 square inches because it's area. We'll get into that a little bit later, or remind you of the square when we're doing area a little bit later. But that's exactly right. We can take the side lengths, so the rows and the columns, and we can multiply them together to give us our answer. Okay, how are we feeling about that? Thumbs up, sideways down, is that making sense? Okay. Again, our target for today is to figure out how to find the area of a rectangle without all the grid lines. So if we can find the side lengths, we are good to go. Okay, that's all I have for today, but let's take a quick look at the homework that I posted. Eileen, do you have a question?
Ask you if I could tell you something at the end of class.
Yep, you can tell me at the end of class. Let's get through the homework real fast and then we can talk.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the homework. So this is exactly what you'll see in either OneNote form or PDF form on that assignment that I just created. Okay, there's only 2 questions, and as long as you know how to find the area of rectangles, it shouldn't take you too long. Let's look at this first one. The rectangle is marked off in meters. What is the area of the rectangle in square meters? Well, how could I, without giving me the answer, how could I find the area of this without knowing, without a little marker saying how long that is or this or what the area is? How can we solve that? Camila?
You could count the lines.
Okay, and how would that help me?
Because then you'll know how much squares there will be.
Okay, are you talking about the whole area or one side length or row, the column?
The rows and the columns.
Okay, so you would, oops, let me scroll down on my iPad. So you're saying, let's let's find how much room is there, how many ticks there are, and how many ticks there are from there to there.
Yeah.
Okay, and once you find that, what do you do?
You can add or multiply.
Okay, you can add in groups or multiply the sides.
Yeah.
All right, very good thinking. It's a very similar problem for the second problem here. Find those side lengths. Let's multiply them together or add in groups, and you'll be able to answer both of those questions. Let me pull up the assignment real fast. Like I said, I just posted it. Here's the student view. You'll have the student work here. So here's the OneNote version. Should look exactly the same. There we go. If you are able to write on it, I would encourage you to try that, because then you can just press turn in and it's good to go. But if you aren't able to open OneNote or use it, I have the PDF version of it here. So you'll get the exact same thing. You won't be able to type on it or do anything like that, but you'll at least be able to view it.
Okay.
So the rest of this time, we're right at 30 minutes, so we're right on schedule. But you have time from now until lunch at noon. You have 40 minutes. That is a perfect time for you to get started on your work.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if Miss Kangas explained that to you guys earlier today too, but I know we talked, and it's really important for you to use this time right after we're done from live instruction to get to work on your homework and your assignments. Right. So get started on today's assignment as well as the 2 assignments that are in there from yesterday and the day before, because those are due either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when I posted them, right? Let me stop recording real fast, and then I'll take some questions.